today's Behind the United Art Gallery interview is from an artist from Germany. It's Nella Aguessy. She's a photographer from Berlin. Thanks for joining in today, and how are you doing?
Hello, Marcus. First of all, thank you for inviting me to your podcast. I'm really honored, actually. I'm great. I'm great. Going soon on vacations, and yeah, I'm doing really good. Thank you for asking. Good to see you finally. To have a real face and a real, I would say, person in front of me. And yeah, it's nice to see you.
I also mostly enjoy it if I finally can see the people and can talk like face to face. It's not really face to face, but it's the best we can get these days. So where are you?
Yes.
Where are you going to vacation? I'm curious.
I'm going to the south of France, actually. I'm French, so I'm going to south of France, Montpellier. I don't know if you heard about it. It's a really nice city, little city, next to the sea, Mediterranean Sea. And yeah, I'm going to join some friends. I'm going to travel a bit to see the little village around, and of course, going to the beach.
That sounds really beautiful. That sounds really good. So you are originally based from France. So why did you move to Germany?
So, to be honest with you, it was completely unexpected. It was completely unexpected. I was living in Paris, working in Paris, and at some point, I just had a really strong feeling inside me. I wanted to do more art. I wanted to have a more creative activity, and basically after a few times coming in Berlin, I really like the creative vibe here. I really like the artistic background and the cultural background of Berlin. And at some point, I stayed for 3 months. At the beginning, I thought, yeah, I will just stay for some kind of vacations, like a kind of break, 2 months. And then at some point, it started to be 3 months. And then at some point, I realized, okay, I think I don't want to go back anymore to Paris. And then I looked for a place to stay, and I started to do more and more and more photography. And here I am.
Beautiful. That sounds really good. It's always surprises me and amazes me how people move from one location to the next one or just stay there because I never felt like doing that, but I can understand it because I was traveling a lot around the world and was at many very beautiful places. But very cool that you chose Berlin. As we talked a little bit before we started the recording, I was there 3 times before, maybe 4 times already, and I really like the city a lot. So
Yeah.
you talked already about photography. How did you start with photography, or how did you get involved with it?
Yeah, so basically, since 2000, since my travel in New York, I will say, I went to New York. I started to work there in artistic showroom. So basically, yeah, my background has more to do with business, with curating. I worked also for galleries, and yeah, back in the days in New York, I used my father's camera. Wait, I can show it to you. I got it here. So this is the first camera that I mean, analog camera I used. I don't know why, but I mean, I know why, but I always hide the brand because, yeah, for street photography's reason, it's like easier to show a camera that you cannot see brands, and maybe some people think it's fake or they don't feel already like always, I say, aggressed or feel weird about the fact that, yeah, this a lens or a camera in front of them. And basically that camera is quite old. I mean, older than me. Yeah? It's from 1986. I was born in 1990. And as you can see, it's an analog camera with quite a good lens, I will say. It's like a 50 millimeter. And yeah, basically I started with that, black and white pictures. And yeah, and when I came back from my trip, I stayed 6 months in the US. And while coming back, I really wanted to develop the pictures. I was like, oh, I want to see the result. I really want to see the, and yeah, I developed the pictures, and it was my first wow. It was the first time that I could see the results of the pictures I took with an analog camera, and the first time that I actually really started to use that camera. Yeah, it was like magic. It was like magic because yeah, again, this is what I like with analog. You cannot see the result instantly. You cannot frame also your picture in a way that it looks perfect. I really don't believe, I mean, I respect photographers who only use like digital camera, but me, I just really like the fact that, yeah, that's kind of non-perfect aesthetic and non-perfect or natural effect. I really, really like with analog, and yeah, that I cannot find the same way with digital. So I'm like, yeah, this is how I started, and then I started to do more and more pictures as basically street photography in the street of Paris, so Montmartre, some really nice neighborhoods and districts like Montmartre are really, really photogenic. They're really nice to take pictures of, and yeah, and slowly I think I started to yeah, just to improve myself, to understand, to get that connection also with my camera. You know, when you use a camera during a long time, and you get used to it, and you know the setting, and you really like the way you photograph with it, and you start to create a kind of, I would say, interesting link and relationship with your camera. This is what happened to me. And basically, at some point, I would say that I never stopped since then.
I can feel really what you're saying, because for me, it was, I started to shoot analog, I don't know, maybe 7, 8 years ago. And I had also one camera. I was always shooting with this camera. I was traveling around the world, doing portraits on the street of different people. And you just have like this connection then with your camera. I had one camera, one lens. I was shooting with the combination, and I really, yeah, I understand what you're saying. It's really a good feeling, and also the analog stuff. It's always exciting to get the film developed or to develop your own film, and then you see the results, right? And it's still like a little miracle. No, it's not miracle, but it's kind of when you have then the pictures in your hand, and I think for me, it's like I like to focus much more with an analog camera than with the digital one, because with the digital one, I prepare also my images. I also try to get everything done in camera, and I try to not to make so many images, but with an analog camera, it's still different.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. I mean, even the ink. I mean, the outcome is different. There's another input I feel, and me, I'm a fan of the photography. I mean, the process of photography. So basically, from the beginning to the end, I didn't start with like taking pictures, developing my films, and then basically scanning, or I don't know, like doing my own prints. I didn't start with that, but I learned the process by doing photography, and that process, as you said, I found it magic. So basically, yeah, I still have sometimes some moment when I'm like, oh my gosh, everything needs to be perfect because it's an analog camera. I cannot do it like twice, you know. It should be the good shots, and everything should be like really into place. But also sometimes when it doesn't work as I expected, you have some really good surprise, and this is what I like with analog camera. And I've been photographing analog when during my travel. I went to Southeast Asia, and I work with many associations. So this is mostly what I do. I'm a photojournalist. I'm a photograph, also like working on many like activist projects. So for example, yeah, there's my series of pictures, and there's my project We Can Breathe. That is actually, I've been doing this in Berlin. So it's a project based in Berlin, among the like Afro community here in Berlin. It can be Afro-Dutch community, it can be the Afro-American community, because there's a big also Afro-American community here in Berlin. It can be the just European Afro community here in Berlin. And basically this project is going quite well in terms of, I got so many feedback of people telling me, yeah, it's so important, the space you gave us. You gave us rooms to actually express ourselves. You gave us room to answer and to give our opinion about what happened with George Floyd and, you know, all the events that happened lately. And this is the reason why I'm doing photography. For me, it's important to tell stories. And I really respect any kind of photography. I'm a big fan of George Newton, for example. I'm also a really big fan of I don't know, many artists and photographer. And I really like the fact that through a medium, someone can express himself. And I think photography is definitely the medium which I can express myself and other many photographers. But again, I think that my pictures, I'm not looking for perfection. I'm looking for emotions. I'm looking for a story to tell. So this is really what's the most important for me. And I'm a big fan of portraits. This is what I'm doing the most. So it can be for magazines. It can be, again, for a good cause, like the Black Lives Matter cause that I'm like the project that I'm working on at the moment. And yeah, so basically this is my, I would say, artwork. Yeah, like basically mostly photojournalism, portraits, and self-expression.
Perfect. So we're gonna talk in a little moment about your Black Lives Matter project, but before I have a little question. I wanted to know if you would like to prefer some special film, like Ilford Delta 400, for example, or any film. Is there any film you really like?
Okay, so I actually prepared everything. So yeah, I have some film that I would like to show you. So basically, as I said, I started to photograph with that camera here, quite heavy one, but and now I got even a heavier one since a few months. This is my baby. This is basically Hasselblad 500 cm, and this is mostly, I would say, the camera I'm photographing with. I'm doing mostly medium format now. And with that camera, what I really like for black and white is not that one, unfortunately. I don't have any more of those ones, but it's the same brand. I don't know if you can see. It's Ilford. And basically what I take is Ilford FP4, I guess. And so AFP4, and it's black and white, really fine grain. I really like the contrasts on the black and white, on this black and white film. And the result is basically, yeah, the deepness of the result and the way it looks is basically what I'm looking for on my pictures. So this is more for client build, so basically, yeah, little format or small format. And what I also really like for colors with my medium format camera Hasselblad is that one. I don't know if you can see it, but it's the Portra 400. Really good. I really like the color on that with that film. It's an amazing one. I always use or mostly use that one for color. And sometimes it depends on what, but if it's for portrait, I use that one. If it's for some kind of landscapes photography, for example, I mostly use that. I don't know if you can see, but it's the Hector 100. And it's like the colors for landscape are wonderful with that film. So yeah, I highly recommend that for colors and landscapes. And what I do also, I'm a bit a nerd, so what I do also is I really like to photograph with some kind of expired film. I don't know if you experience that, but me, I mean, I like it. It's my thing. I really like when, yeah, the colors are dying, when you cannot really like see the colors the way they should anymore. So basically, yeah, I also buy some expired films, and I got those one. They are like Agfa Ultra 100, and I mean, I used it already, and I really like the effects. It's a specific effect on the pictures that I took, and yeah, I found it really interesting, and I have a lot of them. I have also that one. That one is Super J Plus Fujicolor 800, also quite nice. Same, expired since I will tell you, since 2000. So basically 20 years. So yeah, this is what I'm using, and basically, yeah, mostly, as I said, Ilford for black and white. There's the FP5, so FP5 and FP4, and there's also the Portra for colors. And yeah, for the I would say small formats, I really like to use Hectare 100 for landscapes color, and yeah, some kind of expired film like that one that I showed.
Very nice, very nice. So let's talk about your project. Let's tell the viewers a little bit more about the Black Lives Matter project, what you shared with the United Art Gallery. And
yeah, so that project called We Can Breathe, and I started that project. Actually during the Corona crisis at the really early beginning. So it was basically, yeah, in March. And how did it come up is just simply by the fact that I just felt I'm human, and as many other human people have feelings, and basically, yeah, what happened with George Floyd, what happened with Breonna, what happened with a lot of people, Black people who died in the US during that period, just really, really affected me, just caused me a lot of pain. And yeah, and again, I am a human being, but I didn't know how to process all that pain. I didn't know. I was like wondering, okay, what can I do that actually will make me feel somehow better, or in kind of creative, like to somehow process what happened, and to feel a bit better afterwards. And I didn't know what to do. And then I thought, okay, Nella, think. What can you do? What do you do the best, or what do you love to do? And then I figured out, yeah, it's photography. So one day in the morning, I'm really on social media, by the way. I'm really, really active on social media. And then I thought, okay, I'm on many Facebook groups in Berlin. And it was that group, Black People Berlin. And I was like, okay, what can I do? Maybe I can just throw a bottle to the sea, and and just talk about my experience, just talk about my pen, and ask and see around if other people are feeling the same, and if they would like to either talk about it or take a picture with a message that they would like to show to the world according to what happened. So that's how it started, and that's what I did. I wrote a message. It was completely like, I mean, I didn't have big expectations. I was like, okay, I send it, I see if some people answer, and then that was crazy. Like the people just could not stop answering, and could not stop like asking for my for more details, and writing me and contacting me. And it was like hundreds of people like basically answering to that post. That's how it started. And basically, yeah, to be honest, I was overwhelmed at the beginning. I was like, oh my gosh, I could not expect that it would go so fast, and it would be actually so impactful. And what I did is, yeah, I took the time to answer to the people, to provide them some more details, and organizing the photo shoot. I shooted the people in the studio, and how it happened is, yeah, I was thinking, okay, what kind of scenography, what kind of framing, what kind of picture actually that will somehow match with the topic. I was like, okay, what can it be? Because it needed to be sober, it needed to be natural, it needed to be quite emotional also. And I also really wanted the people to feel secure, to say whatever they wanted to say, to feel secure, to actually, show the message, to write it themselves, to show it front of the camera, and to express the face, or the facial expression that they wanted to express, with that sign between the camera, between the lens and them. And it went really fast, really, it was really uncomplicated. The people, they were just really nice. I got to know them better. I also was really really interesting also to just talk to those people, to actually connect also a bit more with the Black community here in Berlin, and to understand that we are not alone, that I was not alone, and that together, as a collaborative project, we could do something in order to raise our voice, and something that doesn't have to be like, I don't know, like broadcasting, or just showing some kind of anger, or being like violence, or no, it doesn't have to be this. It can just be through that medium, through photography, explaining our feeling and the way we feel about the situation, and the way we feel about the whole world, and the whole topic around racism, and around segregation. So that's how it happened. And afterwards, I just somehow applied to some open calls. There, I got an exhibition in. I exhibited my work, actually, some of the pictures in Regensburg, next to, I think it's in Bayern, in Bavaria. And basically, again, non-lucrative projects with Pariso projects, who they basically exhibited my work, and all like the most of the money earned during that exhibition went to the Black Lives Matters organization. So again, I think that project was artistic, activist, and also a lot to do with collaboration, and creating and moved within the community.
I remember when I first saw one of your images, and I thought they're really, really strong. The emotion was just a very strong emotion, and I liked them so much. That was the reason I wrote this to you. And I'm so happy now to hear that you had already exhibitions with your images. And I did not know that so many people were reacting to your post or to your offer to take pictures of them. So I'm very, very happy to hear that. Very cool.
And you were one actually of the first ones who contacted me to actually to host my pictures on your website. So thank you for that.
Thank you for showing your art on our website. I think all the time I say the website is without you, artist, or without the artist, it's just a blank website. And I'm so happy that all these people are contributing their work to the United Art Gallery, and so we can show together what is happening. And one of my last questions right now, is there a specific image you want to talk about, maybe? Like a portrait from this series for any other series or any other series?
Yes, I would say that that picture with there's many pictures. There's one here that I took with me. It's one of my print. I don't know if you can see it clearly.
Okay, yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's one of the portraits from the series that I printed myself, and basically, yeah, it's part of the whole series. And what I really like on that pictures is that woman, she's French. So basically, yeah, she wanted to write in French, and this I also really I find it quite interesting in my project. Is like everybody can express itself through a message in the language they want, and basically, I think that gives an input, because some people, for example, they were not feeling so comfortable speaking in English, or they really felt their message more in their own language, and this I really liked, I appreciated. And another picture that I would like to talk about from the series of pictures We Can Breathe, that will be the picture of Sarah. So Sarah is she's a violinist and a musician, and yeah, I had a long talk with her, and I just remember that picture so well, because during the shooting, Sarah was looking at me, and she got super emotional. She got really, really emotional, and she told me, like, I'm not sure if I can do this. I will try to do my best, but. And I remember, like, telling her, okay, try to look at the camera, and that's what she did. She actually, yeah, was straight and look at the camera and look at me, and then I could see like some white eyes, and yeah, and again, for me, so important that I can create that link, or that thing, that magic between me and the person that I'm photographing. And I told her, you know what, Sarah, if you don't feel comfortable looking at the camera, just turn your face. Like, you can just turn your face, and you keep holding the sign, and I will take a picture. And yeah, and from that picture, there's a dab tag. There's like 2 pictures from her. One when she's looking at the camera, the lens, and another one when she's not looking at it. And that was not expected. That was not planned, that she would not look at the camera. It was not what I set it up at the beginning. But again, like, that moment of improvisation just came up with such with a lot of I would say emotion, but also kind of something unique that you can feel when you look at that pictures. I would say, yeah, you have like this it's really like quite unique. And yeah, I would say that I remember that picture so well. And when I was in my dark room, like printing the pictures, and I put it in different chemicals, and then it just came out, on the paper. I mean, I guess you know that effect. I look at the pictures, and then I started to have white eyes. I was so moved, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, it was like a transfer of emotion from that medium. And yeah, I'm really, yeah, it's a memorable memory, I would say. Yeah.
Wow, that's a wonderful story and very moving, and I'm so happy you captured that image. And I think it's really great what you're doing. It's I think it's for the people they are sitting in front of the camera. Also, like let me find the right words. English is not my native language, but it's like,
Yeah, me neither.
yeah, I think it's like medicine for them too, so they can express what they're thinking, and they can show it publicly to the public. So
Exactly.
very,
And in a non-violent way also. It's non-violent, and this is also really important, I think.
it's non-violent, but it's very, very strong. If you see images, they have a lot of energy. They have a lot of power from my point of view, and
Yeah.
they really great stuff what you're doing. Very, very cool.
Thank
So,
you.
very welcome. So the last question, I wrote it before, it's the most difficult, maybe not for everybody, but is there any question you would like to ask yourself?
A question I would like to ask myself, I think that would be, why don't you start that shit before? Why don't you start photography before? Way before. I should have been born with the camera in my hand and be like, oh. Yeah, that would have been the question. Like, yeah, why not before? It should have been before. But yeah, it's just the way it is.
I can so relate to this question, because if I would got into this much earlier, like not, I shoot wet plate now for 6 years, maybe. If I would have done that already for 15 years, but it took my time, and I think it was the right time, but I totally can understand these questions. I have this very often that I sit and I think, why didn't I do that much earlier? It's so much fun and I enjoy it so much.
Exactly.
Nella, thank you so much for joining us today and explaining what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you to you to invite me, to give me again room and space to talk about my work, to be a little nerdy with all my films and my cameras. No, thank you. Thank you a lot, Marcus. Really.
Yeah, you're very welcome. And yeah, everybody who was listening until now, check out our United Art Gallery. There you can find all the pictures about COVID-19 art and about equal rights. And Nella, thanks again for joining in, and have a great day.
Bye-bye. See you soon.